Hello friends, welcome to this video. In today's video we'll look at the very basic idea of infinite resistance. So I hope you are aware with of the basic concepts of electricity like potential difference and everything. Ohm's law and Kirchhoff's law is not required as per this video. So I hope you are knowing the basics about series connection and parallel connection and how to solve for the resistances. In today's video we'll look at infinite resistance. For instance, if somebody is asking you to solve this, let this be point A. Okay, these are all the connecting wires. Okay, so here we have a resistance, then 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 here we have a resistance, and then this is going on infinitely. And this point is B. So what is the equivalent resistance between the points A and B? What is equivalent resistance? Now before we begin to solve this question, let me tell you one thing personally. I personally feel that whenever there is this concept of infinity, it's not practical situation. Obviously, realistically, you can't build a circuit like this going on infinitely. What's going on infinitely? That's not possible. And so that's why I don't like these questions, but yeah, this is actually a bit interesting. Okay, so that's why we will be solving the question, don't worry. By the way, after we solve the question, we will have one more surprise for us. Okay, so before that, let's begin solving the question. And yeah, once more, whenever there is infinity, that means it's not realistic. But still, whenever there is infinity, how we approach such problems. First of all, we assume something to be x or something. So in this case, you can assume this everything to be x, but let us assume for this help. So we actually assume this thing here, this total resistance going on till infinity. Let the equivalent resistance of this part, which I mean this part from here to the of this part, be x ohms. So ohm is the unit, right? I think you're knowing this. So V equals IR. This is Ohm's law, where V is the voltage and the potential difference, I is the current, R is the resistance. So R equals V by I, which is just, what is the unit for voltage? That's just volts. I is amperes current. So this is your ohm. The unit is called to be ohm. Okay. Now I is again Q by T, and yeah, potential difference is again a very interesting concept. So I'll try to cover that in the future video, but for now, okay. So that means we can redraw the circuit like this. By the way, I missed one part of the question. Let all this be 1 ohm resistance. If the value of the resistance is not given to you, how will you solve the question? All of these are 1 ohm. Okay, so let assume the equivalent resistance of this part to be x. So how can we redraw the circuit? Like this. So this is 1, this is 1, this is x, right? Now see, this is 1 ohm and this is 1 ohm also, and this is x ohm. So these two resistors are connected in parallel. This is obvious, right? Because see, suppose the current is flowing from here. So at this point, the current is breaking into two parts. So obviously, that is enough to convey. So this is in parallel. So first of all, we have to find one parallel to x, and then this is in series with this. Suppose we find one parallel to x, and suppose we find the equivalent resistance to be y. That means our next circuit will be like this. Okay, you can't see this, right? So that means our next circuit will be like this. So where this is y is the equivalent resistance of one parallel to x, and this is 1. Now in this circuit, 1 and x are in series because the same current is flowing through them. So that means we need to, and in series connection we just add it. That means we need to add 1 to 1 parallel to x. That will give us our answer. Now what is 1 parallel to x? How to find parallel connection between two resistors R1 and R2? We all know that. 1 by R, R is the equivalent resistance when parallel connection, is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. So R will be plus, not plus R2, plus 1 by R2. So can you see this? Yeah. So R will be R1 plus R2 over R1 R2 inverse of this. Okay, so R1 R2 over R1 plus R2. R1 R2 over R1 plus R2. So in this case, we have R1 is 1 and R2 is x. So R1 R2 is x times 1, which is just x itself, over R1 plus R2, which is 1 plus x. So 1 plus x over 1 plus x equal to, now yeah, this is the important question. This is where I think that all this infinity and all these concepts are I don't feel comfortable with them. Okay, still So we have to assume this is equal to x. Now you will ask why. Because see, I am using the very common analogy. You have a sea of water, like an ocean, Indian Ocean or something, Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean. Now you take a mug or bucket, any bucket, say the normal bucket in your house, in your washroom. So you take out one bucket of water from that sea. So now you tell me that the amount of water that will be remaining in the sea, is it equal to the amount of is it equal to the previous amount of water? No. See, no matter how small, even if you take one drop of water out of the ocean, even if you take one single drop of water out of the ocean, still that is not same. But we assume it to be same because the difference is negligible. That's why we say electron 9.11 times 10 to the minus 31 kg is a mass. But it's negligible, very small. But no matter how small, that is still a mass. Okay. So the thing is that we assume this to be x. That means, see, this is going on infinitely. So it's like a big series, and this is just we have one here and one here. So that won't make much difference. Like a one bucket of water less won't make much difference to ocean. Ocean has like it's almost infinite amount of water to us because we can't measure that anyway. So we assume this to be x. We must have a RHS. If we just have a RHS, how will we be able to, how will we solve it? So now you see. Now I'm rubbing this, okay. So 1 plus x over 1 plus x is equal to x. That means 1 plus x over 1 plus x. I'm just taking the LCM is equal to x. That means 1 plus 2x equal to x times 1 plus x, or 1 plus 2x is equal to x plus x square, or x square plus x. That means x square plus x minus 2x minus 1 is equal to 0. That means x square, okay fine, plus x minus 2, x square minus x minus 1 equal to 0. So we get a quadratic equation. So I'm just directly applying Sridharacharya's formula. So let this be equivalent to ax square plus bx plus c equals 0. So in this case a must be 1 because 1x square, b must be minus 1 because we have a minus x here. It's minus 1 times x. C must again be minus 1. So Sridharacharya formula says that x will be minus b plus minus under root of b square minus 4ac over 2a. So in this case we put in the value of b is minus 1. So minus or minus 1 will just give us positive 1, plus minus under root of b square, which is minus 1 square, which will give us positive 1, minus 4ac. A is 1, c is again minus 1. So we have a minus 4 minus 1, so this will just give us plus, and 4 into 1 plus 1, that, so that we all we have is 1 plus 4. So that is under root of 5 over 2a. A is 1, so that's 2 times 1 is 2. So that is our answer. So obviously there are two solutions. We can take the plus also and take the minus also. Yeah, resistances can be negative. Resistance can be negative. So yeah, here plus minus is valid. Don't have to eliminate minus. Okay, so that's how we solve this problem. Let's give a basic idea. Now, if you remember, I told you that there was a surprise at the end of the video. The surprise is that this value, not this value 1 plus root 5 over 2, which is one of the solution. This is called your golden ratio, or phi, which is a very important constant in mathematics. Golden ratio. Its value is 6.18 something. I am sorry 1.618 something. Okay, can you just wait a second? I'm just telling you the value. I don't want to give you wrong information. Yeah, that is 1.618. So something. So 1 plus under root of 5 by 2 is golden ratio. And if we had this thing 1 minus under root of 5 by 2, this is also an interesting number. This is actually minus 0 point something, 618 something. So I asked you to, yeah, it's minus 0.618 and this is 1.618 plus 1.618. So yeah, there is a relation between these two numbers also in mathematics. That is purely mathematical. So you can check it out. You can try to search that because that's very interesting. That is what I was going to ask you, nothing else. And yeah, so what is the definition of golden ratio? Now let's move on to mathematics. Move on to means just a single thing, simple thing. If we suppose take any line and divide it into two parts such that one part is bigger than the other part. So let this be A and B, okay. So let this be our line, okay. So obviously let this part be A, which is a bigger part, and this is a smaller part B, and the total part is A plus B. So if you can divide them such that A by B, the larger part divided by the smaller part, is equal to the total length divided by the larger part. If a by b is equal to a plus b over a, then you get the golden ratio, which is denoted by the symbol, Greek symbol phi. So anyway, if you put b is 1 and a is x, then you get this equation only, right? What happens then? A is x, so x is just x by 1 is just x is just 1 plus x, a plus b, yeah, or x plus 1 over x, and that's all that. And we had here 1 plus x over, anyway, something similar. So in this case we end up with a 1 plus minus result. So this is how we calculate the this is the concept of golden ratio. And like there are many interesting numbers in mathematics, like Euler's number, pi, Feigenbaum's constant, golden ratio, and so on. So you can check this out in the internet if you like it. It's very interesting. And that's all I want to discuss in today's video. Hope you liked it. Thank you very much.